זה היה פרויקט שאפתני שבישראל תלו בו תקוות רבות. קרן אמריקאית נכנסה לעזה לבצע בעצמה את חלוקת הסיוע ההומניטרי לתושבי הרצועה, כך שיותר לא יוכל חמאס לשים עליו את ידו. אולם היום, חודשיים אחר כך, אומר הנשיא טראמפ בעצמו שבעזה שורר רעב. ואנחנו מדברים הערב עם יושב ראש הקרן, הכומר ג'וני מור, שיושב בוושינגטון.
Thank you, Moav. Thanks for having me.
One of the top objectives of the GHF was to supply humanitarian aid in order to prevent hunger in Gaza. Isn't this remark an evidence to the failure of the GHF to meet this objective?
Actually, it's the exact opposite. It's a remark that reflects the failure of the international system, particularly the United Nations, to address the hunger crisis in Gaza. I mean, we said from the very beginning, Moav, that we couldn't do it alone, and we called upon everyone to do their part, to partner with us. And what did we get? We got a boycott from the United Nations. We got the United Nations threatening anyone, including countries and organizations, from working with us, while the United Nations simultaneously wasn't delivering hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of truckloads of food already sitting in the Gaza Strip.
מור מטיל את כל האחריות למצב על האום. אבל גם בישראל מודים היום כי האום לא היה מסוגל להכניס את מסעיות הסיוע בגלל בעיות הביטחון בצירי הנסיעה ברצועה לאור המשך הלחימה של צה"ל באזור.
Of the World Food Program trucks that went into the Gaza Strip, 90% of those trucks were intercepted. They never made it to their final destination. What we've done over the course of 2 months is we've showed up every single day delivering tens of thousands of boxes, millions of meals of food without a single truck diverted. We have actually demonstrated that it is possible to do this in a way where the food actually gets to the people of Gaza and where Hamas can't steal it, as the president said, and use it for their nefarious purposes.
התיאור הזה לכל הפחות שנוי במחלוקת. לא ניתן לדעת בוודאות שהגברים הצעירים שהגיעו למרכזי החלוקה של הקרן לא היו בעצמם אנשי חמאס, או לכל הפחות היו קשורים לארגון הטרור והעבירו לו את מצרכי המזון שקיבלו מהקרן.
Before March, before Israel stopped the humanitarian aid into Gaza, the UN was responsible of the humanitarian aid and there was no starvation. Now, after 2 months of the GHF apparatus, we have people starving in Gaza, as President Trump has said.
I think it's a crazy, frankly, it's a crazy argument. Imagine what the situation would look like in the Gaza Strip today had GHF not been distributing millions of meals of food every single day over the course of our operation. But rather than working with us to help these people, the United Nations decided to oppose our efforts, to boycott our efforts, and in effect becoming the press secretary for Hamas at the failed ceasefire negotiations.
Rand Moore, why for the UN to undermine your effort to feed the Palestinian population in Gaza?
As best as I can tell, we have a bunch of people professing to be humanitarians sitting in suits and ties in Geneva and New York City, and they aren't humanitarians. They're politicians. That's what they are. And they are entirely dedicated to a broken system.
There is no dispute that maybe hundreds of Palestinian civilians were killed while rushing into the distribution centers of the GHF. Do you think that the GHF has any responsibility to this dire outcome?
We exist to save lives. Our mission is to...
And maybe you failed.
It's just a lie. It's just not true. And in fact, I actually believe, based upon data and information that I've seen, that far more people have been injured and killed in proximity to UN distribution sites. I suspect that as this, these chaotic scenes that we saw yesterday, as the UN, tried to institute what they say is their better system, that there were probably more people injured in the Gaza Strip just yesterday trying to seek aid than over the entire course of our operation.
Reverend Moore, looking forward, what might be the best solution, the best option now in order to provide the hundreds of thousands of Palestinian civilians in Gaza with food and humanitarian aid?
The best solution is for everyone, for all the actors to get around a table, to benefit from everyone's expertise and experience on the ground, to stop playing politics with all of this and just solve the problem. The most important thing now is to work together to get the people the food that they need and to try to do it in a way where a globally designated terrorist organization can't use it against those same people that they oppress, prolonging this terrible war which everyone wants to come to an end.
Reverend Johnny Moore, thank you so much for this conversation.
Thanks for having me.